There is an ancient breathing technique that reorganizes you from within in 6 coded cycles. It did not come from the human mind. It came from form, from an ancestral structure carved, etched, and preserved for millennia. A symbol that does not ask for belief, but for presence. A design that does not want to be interpreted, it wants to be breathed. Ankh, the so-called key of life. Not as an amulet or sacred figure hanging from the neck, but as a map of energetic activation, crafted with the precision of those who knew the paths of life force. The upper loop represents the toroidal flow. The vertical stem reveals the sacrum heart pineal axis. The sidearms mirror the expansion of the field. This is what you are about to activate, but not with words, with breath, with rhythm, with intention, because your body has never forgotten. It just hasn't been reminded. That is why so many wake up tired, even after hours of sleep, because the first breath of the day is already disconnected. The air comes in, but it does not circulate. The energy arrives, but it does not move. Ankh breathing corrects this. It creates a field. It brings together what is fragmented. It reignites the pulse of the center. And in just 2 minutes, it transforms a scattered body into a sacred portal. You do not need to believe. You need to breathe with reverence and allow the invisible to move. The most enigmatic symbol of Egypt was not only carved in stone, it was carved into the human body, but almost no one notices. Because the Ankh was not a sacred ornament, nor a static amulet of power. It was, and still is, a breathing code, a living key designed to open the subtle channels of your body with pinpoint precision. The priests did not hold it in their hands out of superstition. They breathed through it. They lived by it. And in this video, you will learn how. Because what is called Ankh breathing is not a mystical legend recovered from the past. It is a complete biospiritual system hidden in plain sight, and it can be activated through 6 deeply coded breathing cycles. When applied correctly, these cycles reorganize your internal physiology, dissolve vibrational stagnation, and reactivate an energy field you did not even know was dormant. The result is not subtle. You feel the flow rise from your lower belly to the center of your chest, as if your entire body becomes a living bridge between earth and sky. Your mental state shifts, perception sharpens, intuition becomes clearer. In just 2 minutes, something lights up inside you, a memory or perhaps a calling, the same calling that once moved the initiates of Isis. Hermes Trismegistus spoke of this long ago. True life is found in those who breathe with awareness. And when you breathe with the Ankh, you begin to truly live again. This is not just another technique for relaxation. It is a portal that opens. And once activated, the body is never the same. The oldest records do not explain the Ankh. They protect it. As if, instead of revealing its true purpose, they merely hinted at a secret. What few people know is that the hieroglyphs of Egypt were not just sacred texts. They were breathing maps. Every curve, every stroke, every symbol placed over the chest of a deity was a reminder. The Ankh appears in the hands of Isis, Osiris, and Thoth, touching the nose, the heart, the spinal column. And there is a reason for that. At the heart of Egyptian tradition, there was a hidden teaching. Proper breathing reorganizes the body as a temple, but not just any breathing. A breath that rises and cycles, echoing the spirals of the universe. A breath that mimics the geometry of life. That is exactly what the Ankh represents. It is composed of 3 essential parts: the upper loop, symbolizing spirit; the vertical bar, representing the spine; and the horizontal line, which marks the expansion of breath on the earthly plane. This design is not random. It is a condensed manual on how to move vital energy from bottom to top, from within outward, from dense to subtle. Thoth, the great initiator, taught that every living form contains a dormant field of light within it, and that this field only awakens when the rhythm of breathing aligns with the frequency of the cosmos. That was how Egyptian priests accessed expansive layers of consciousness. They did not meditate, they breathed the key, because they knew that consciousness is shaped by the way air enters, moves through, and exits the body. And by following these cycles, the body ceases to be a passive vessel and becomes a sacred transmitter. That is why Ankh breathing does not belong to the past. It is an immortal code, and once activated, everything within you, biology, energy, and consciousness, aligns with a higher pattern. Modern respiratory science has advanced more in the past 10 years than in the entire previous century. A study published by Harvard Medical School revealed that slow, deep, rhythmic breathing activates areas of the brain linked to cellular repair, heightened perception, and neuroplasticity. The most surprising finding is that these activations only occur when the breath follows a specific cycle with pauses, holds, and upward flows. In other words, the way you breathe changes the functioning of your nervous system and reconfigures how your body processes energy. That is exactly what Ankh breathing proposes, a six-space, rhythmic cycle that generates ascending bioelectric impulses and organizes the neurophysiological field from the inside out. Researcher Stephen Porges, creator of the polyvagal theory, demonstrated that controlled cyclical breathing directly stimulates the vagus nerve, promoting states of safety, expanded awareness, and autonomous reorganization of the body. With each complete cycle of Ankh breathing, there is a wave of communication between brain, heart, and viscera. And this communication is not symbolic, it is electrical. Studies on heart coherence, conducted by the HeartMath Institute, show that synchronizing the rhythm of breath with the heartbeat activates states of insight, emotional balance, and deep mental clarity. It is as if the entire body enters a silent dance, where brain, lungs, spine, and electromagnetic field operate in unison. When measuring instruments finally find language for the invisible, what emerges is not something new. It is precision about what has always been pulsing, though few knew how to listen. Ankh breathing is not a technique. It is a living geometry, a circuit that unites heaven and earth within you. It was designed to break through the invisible blockages that keep your body in a state of waiting. It is not about filling the lungs, but about sculpting time with the breath. The first step is to recognize the inner axis. Before breathing differently, you must inhabit your body as sacred territory. Lie down in silence. Soften your gaze. Relax your belly. Let go of the rush. Imagine a line of light beginning at the sacrum, rising along the spine, passing through the heart, and reaching the pineal gland. From that point on, you no longer breathe like a conditioned human being. You activate a neuroquantum ritual of reconnection with your original design. Each cycle is a key, and the first key is vertical inhalation. Cycle 1. Vertical inhalation. Breathe deeply through your nostrils. But instead of expanding your chest, draw the energy upward from the coccyx to the center of your chest. Feel as if a golden thread is being pulled from bottom to top. This inhalation is long, continuous, and silent. It activates the vagal filaments and sends a reorganization command to the etheric body. Cycle 2. Solar retention. Once the breath reaches the chest, hold it for 3 seconds, as if holding an inner light. Here, the heart expands as an electromagnetic field, and the brain enters into coherence with intention. Visualize a small sun pulsing between your lungs. This pause is not static, it radiates. Cycle 3. Descending exhalation, release the air slowly through your slightly open mouth, as if emptying a crystal chalice. Do not push the air, allow it to leave by gravity. Feel the energy descending from the heart toward the lower abdomen, like a river returning to its source. This exhalation clears emotional residue hidden in the folds of body awareness. At this point, your body begins to hear what was once just background noise, subtle tremors, new pulses, small, invisible expansions. It is at this moment that many report goosebumps, gentle tears, or an unexplainable feeling of presence. You are activating the return code, the geometry of reconnection. Cycle 4. Silent pause. After fully exhaling, remain in emptiness for 2 seconds. But it is not the absence of air. It is absolute presence in the act of non-doing. This moment opens a clearing in the mind, making space for the body's intelligence to emerge. The pineal gland picks up this frequency and begins to send signals that reorganize your perception of reality. It is within this interval that time begins to yield, mental acceleration slows down, emotional density dissolves. You enter a state of conscious suspension, a neurospiritual opening in the present moment. Few can endure the silence, but it is within it that the key of life reveals itself. Each cycle breathes through you, but also breathes you back into being. You are not just practicing, you are being breathed by something that knows you deeply. And that something does not come from outside. It rises from your own center, like a temple activated by vibration. And the most surprising thing is that it has always been there, waiting. Cycle 5. Spiral inhalation after the pause. Inhale again, but now with expanded awareness, not just through your nose, but as if your entire body were breathing in light. Visualize the energy rising in a spiral, like a golden serpent weaving through vertebrae, vertices, and veils. This breath is not linear. It draws a living helix between the sacrum and the pineal gland. With each new inner spiral, old patterns dissolve. It is the moment when the neuroquantum field reorganizes itself. The cells begin to listen. The subtle centers awaken. The inner reality recalibrates. Here, the ankh stops being a symbol. It becomes a pulse, a path, a reactivated destiny. Final integration, the 6th invisible cycle. There is one last cycle that is not performed. It simply happens. It arises when the previous ones are lived with surrender and attentiveness. It is the cycle of integration. The breath disappears, but presence remains. Your body becomes a temple. Vibration becomes instruction. The moment becomes a code. At this point, it is no longer about technique. It is about frequency, presence, and inner coherence. The pineal gland begins to pulse in rhythm with the earth and the stars. The language shifts. You no longer think, you feel what is true. There is no stopwatch for this phase. Some remain in it for seconds, others for minutes. But everyone emerges different. Something subtle has settled in, a new axis of perception. And when returning to everyday life, it is as if the body carries a luminous seal. Ankh breathing does not require force. It requires presence. It is the quietest and most powerful portal you can open upon waking. You do not need an altar, a master, or any tools. Only your body, the air, and the courage to remember who you are. Finn first heard about ankh breathing in a conversation that did not even seem important. Someone mentioned, among confusing terms and forgotten formulas, something about a rhythm that opens internal portals. He paid no attention, but the phrase kept vibrating within, as if the body knew more than the mind allowed. A few days later, he came across an incomplete description of the cycles. It did not say what to do. It promised nothing. But a careful reading was enough for something to reorganize from within. It was like discovering an ancient language he had never learned, and yet he understood it. That night, Finn decided to try. No expectations, no ritual, no search for miracles. He simply surrendered to the first cycle, letting the air in as if opening a passage. By the second cycle, the body was no longer breathing out of habit. It was breathing from wisdom. With each phase, it was as if a new level of the body was being revealed. In the third cycle, he felt the sacrum warming. In the fourth, the chest vibrating. In the fifth, the back of the neck expanding. In the sixth, there was a silence so deep he no longer wanted to leave it. It was not a trance, nor ecstasy. It was a dense, living, completely lucid presence. Time lost its structure. The mind stepped aside. The body became a temple. There, without music, without amulet, without mantra, Finn understood he had rediscovered the key of life, and it had no form. It had rhythm. The next morning, nothing on the outside seemed different, but something essential had been restored. There was focus without effort, movement without noise, a kind of power that does not need to dominate anything because it is already complete within. He did not want to teach. He did not want to post. He did not want to explain. He simply kept going, one cycle at a time. Every morning, upon waking, with the body as the altar and the air as the code. The greatest obstacle is not lack of time, nor exhaustion, not even doubt. The true blockage is the absence of listening. A body that no longer feels its own rhythm. A consciousness that got used to commanding, but forgot how to listen. Most people start ankh breathing trying to control the flow. They force, they count, they expect an immediate effect. But the secret is not to force. It is to awaken the intelligence already present in the air. If your body seems unresponsive, if something feels stuck halfway through the cycle, that is not failure. It is internal rigidity being confronted for the first time. The solution: let yourself be breathed. Yes, allow your vital field to guide the wave. Relax your jaw, soften your belly, release all expectations. You do not need to feel everything on the first try. Subtlety is the language of deep codes. It is normal for the body to take a few days to recognize the new rhythm. The important thing is not to give up because you do not understand. The ankh does not require comprehension. It requires presence. The mind will try to grasp it, but this is a right of the body, not of the intellect. So when you feel the impulse to stop, slow down. When inner noise rises, silence it with the exact opposite, deep listening, and remember, you are not the one who must transform everything. It is the cycle that transforms you, if you allow it. Keep going, even without certainty. Keep going, even in silence. Because every breath is a code, and every cycle a return to the origin. Each cycle you went through was not an exercise. It was a crossing, a deep listening to the language the body never forgot. You accessed the ankh, not as an ancient symbol, but as a frequency, a line of fire drawn in your breath, a code of return to the center. There is no map for what has been activated in you. What pulses now cannot be taught. It can only be transmitted, and you have received it. The silence between the inhale and the exhale, that interval where time is suspended, is where the memories of the spirit reorganize. There are no formulas, only resonance. There are no goals, only presence. There are no promises, only potency. You did not practice to achieve something. You breathed to remember who you were before the urgency of the world. and that changes everything. With each cycle, your vibrational architecture is reconfigured. With each retention, your field deepens. With each release, something ancient dissolves. And even if chaos returns, even if your mind questions it, there is now a path, and it vibrates beneath your skin. It pulses in silence, but it does not fade. The yank does not shout, it guides. And as Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, the breath of man is the music of his soul. What he breathes, he becomes. Maybe you are only breathing what the world projected. But today, something shifted. You returned to inhale from within. You reactivated the spark. Because sometimes, the only thing between stagnation and transmutation is the invisible sound of your own breath. If this content activated something within you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This simple action keeps the field open so more souls can find their way back to the vital force. Now, I want you to write in the comments, I activate the secret code of Ankh breathing in my sacred body. This affirmation seals your connection to the legacy of Isis and awakens the ascending cycle between sacrum, heart, and pineal. Share this video with someone who needs to breathe, not just with their lungs, but with their soul. And click on the screen to continue your journey through another portal of living wisdom. Every video here is a hidden code your soul came to decode. Remember, the air you inhale is not just oxygen, it's memory. And every time you breathe with intention, you're not just alive, you're remembering who you are.